Hey guys, in the previous video of test Byte, we saw how to create an empty project and we introduced README file. Our project pretty much looked like this, with just the project name and with just the README file. Now let's take a step further. Let's try to protect whatever little we have got here by adding a version control system to it, such as Git, and by taking a backup of our project into a remote server such as GitHub, so that even if someone accidentally deletes this project, or even if your computer crashes, you still have your project saved on a remote server. So without any delays, let's just get started. The first thing that you need to do is you need to go to your repository, and then of course you need Git installed on your machine. If you don't have already Git installed, well, you can just do a simple Google search and you'll find a link for Git executable, and you can install Git on your machine. Once that is done, the only thing that you need to do to add version control to your project is do a git init. If you, for example, now go back to project, you see Git has added this .git repository, which is what Git will use to version control your project. So you now already have Git installed. You already have now your project version control. Now let's try and add a remote in GitHub for this. So let's go to your GitHub repository, create a new repository, give a name. Let's call it Bytes, exactly the same name, and say our awesome repo to create some cool test designs and automation. It's a public repository. We already have a README file, so we don't want to add it. It also says skip the step if you're importing an existing project, which is exactly what we're doing. So we'll skip README, we'll skip git ignore, which is an important file, but the problem has not arrived yet. So when the problem comes, then we will add this file. And for now, we will also ignore the license. Create repository. It tells you, depending on if you're creating a new repository, use this approach. If you are pushing an existing repository, use this approach. So this is what we're doing, right? So we will add a remote, which is basically this remote, to our local project. So let's go back, add a remote, and the remote is added. Let's go back. That says you can rename your master branch to your Git branch. So for example, if I open now Visual Studio Code, you will see if I do a clear screen, your branch name is master. If you do git branch and main, you get an error, ref name refs heads master not found, branch rename failed. That's because at this moment you have no commits on your project. So what you need to do is you first need to add something for version control. So let's put readme.md file and let's say first commit added readme file, and then you commit. And now let's try to do this code again, and you'll see the branch will change from master to main here. And now if you go back and if you do git push update origin main, control C, Windows, let's say 1, then if you just do git push update origin main, you could have done it from command line or you could have done it from VS Code, doesn't really matter. I mean, what's important is now when you go here and you try to refresh, you are seeing your README file which you have on your local machine. So isn't that cool? So that's how you basically add a version control, and you push and you back up a project in a GitHub. Now there's a simpler and an easier way to do this. So what you can do is, maybe let's delete our Git repo, right? And let's also delete our project, because I want to show you at least one more way to do this, and there are multiple ways to do it, but I'm showing you at least one more way. So now the project is gone. If you go back to Visual Studio Code, if you click on this icon, it tells you initialize repository and publish to GitHub. So let's just say publish to GitHub, call it bytes. Once selected, okay, publish to GitHub. So both the actions of initializing the repository and publishing to GitHub were both done by just one command. Let's go to our repository and see if we can find bytes or not. Let's go to repository. Bytes is here, updated 15 seconds ago, and that's it. Done. In the next project, we will see. So now, since we have added version control to our project, in the next video, we will see how we can, how we can collaborate using Git. So stay tuned. See you in the next video. Bye bye.